Hope you're having a good Sunday. I wanted to continue a little bit of insight into what has happened over the years with our company. Earlier this week, I sent out a email that was outlining kind of how Google removed us from their search engine, how Google and Facebook sort of combined to basically limit all of our traffic, so people couldn't find us, people couldn't see us on Facebook, and obviously this took us down from a huge amount of traffic to very little in comparison, and this had a massive impact on our revenue, as I talked about. But I'm also going to show you how Google specifically destroyed the amount of revenue we were able to make as a company in a very, very sinister way. And I'm going to go through some numbers that are really going to paint a picture of what's happening here, because a lot of people that are sort of critical of independent media, like I mentioned in the email, don't necessarily understand the degree of targeting that is happening against them. So if we look at this here, this is Google demonetization strategy. And the subheading there is 7 years of 1% to 9%, average being 3%. Okay, so what does that mean? That is what is considered invalid traffic. And all you need to know to understand the numbers here is that invalid traffic is, in the advertising world, something where it says, okay, so Google puts advertisements on our website, and a certain percentage of the clicks every month of those ads are either by accident or from a robot, or maybe somebody like clicking an ad like 50 times. That amount of traffic will be considered invalid. The publisher, i.e. us, wouldn't get paid for that. And this is just a normal part of the business. And we averaged from about 2012 to all the way to the end of 2019, every month our invalid traffic was about 3%. It was very, very predictable. We always knew what it was. Most of the time it was in and around 1 to 1.5%. And that's just normal. That's part of the business. But you can see, if we go back to this graph, all of a sudden you notice in January 2020, our invalid traffic jumps to 41%. And I didn't even notice this was happening. I remember when I first looked at this, I had, you look at the end of the month and you go, oh, okay, we're going to make, say, $50,000, $60,000, whatever it might be. And you're like, okay, great. And then you just kind of go away. But then 23 days later, when you get paid, you don't get that money. You get minus 41% of that. And then so you're like, okay, well, what the heck happened, right? February, we see they took away 48% of our revenue for invalid traffic. March, they took away 60% of our revenue, 62%. In April of 2020, 72% of our traffic was considered invalid according to Google. In May, 72% again. In June, 82%. In July, 81%. So it's like every month they kept saying that, imagine, for simple numbers, imagine, you were told, hey, you're going to make $100,000 this month. But we're going to minus 72% of that because that's not real traffic, right? So now all of a sudden you expect to make 100,000, but you're really only making 30. This is essentially what's happening here with the way Google demonetized us. And there's no way to interpret this because nothing changed in our website between 2012 and the end of 2019. Nothing changed in the way we operated as a business. Everything was exactly the same. We shouldn't have gone from averaging 3% invalid traffic to suddenly 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% invalid traffic. This seems to me the only explanation that I can come up with this, because I've looked around the internet, I've messaged Google, I've tried to speak with them about this in the past. And the only explanation here is that they were trying to just push off publishers that they didn't want to work with. They're basically saying, we're going to make your life so difficult, so challenging, so unreasonable that you're just going to leave the platform. Because if they were to kick us off of Google AdSense entirely, we now have a story to go out and tell and say, hey, look, we just got demonetized by Google. And perhaps that's a bigger story than, saying, hey, here's how we've been sort of pushed off the platform. It's a much harder thing to explain to people. It's a lot more difficult to understand what's going on than when you're like, boom, you're just kicked off. It's sort of like the equivalent of being shadow banned versus having your account deleted. When your account is deleted on Twitter, for example, it's like a big story. Hey, look, they just got rid of Dr. Malone's Twitter. Oh, that's crazy. But when your account is still there and you're shadow banned and nobody can see you, it's a much harder story to tell. So We feel like this is what happened with us, and this is ultimately like the way, sort of the final nail was put in the coffin for us after all of the traffic, all of the search engine shutting down, and then they went after our revenue and they basically took away all of that. And that's what pushed us to have to start a membership, start asking for donations, all these sorts of things. If you had been following us for a long time, you probably remember that we hadn't pretty much ever asked for donations very much all the way up until probably 2018, somewhere in that range, when we ran our first funding campaign for an expansion to our business that we wanted to do. But outside of that, we never had to do this, right? We had a membership that we started to provide essentially on-demand video content that has since shifted into something called the Explorer Lounge. So our membership is still there. There are a few member benefits in the Explorer Lounge. You essentially get some exclusive video content. You get access to our private social network. And we have monthly events that we run. So this is one way that we're funding. Then we have donation strategies, right? We're trying to get a certain amount of money every year from donations so that we can add that to our overall revenue, because I know a lot of people don't like to be part of a monthly membership where they're paying something month over month over month. And we would get requests from people all the time, hey, can I just donate a lump sum of money, or can I just give money? I don't want to be part of a recurring payment. So that's why we ask for the donations. That's why we have that. So what I'm here, to sort of say here, similar to the email that I sent out earlier, if you want to support what we're doing, understanding that this is, the way we've been treated by big companies and why it's so hard for us to make revenue. If you can support us, membership is there, right? There's going to be a link below this for the membership, and there's going to be a link below this for donating. Please, if you can support, consider doing so. And if you happen to know of anybody who, might want to support a business like ours and sees the vision of what we're trying to do, or if you know of any grants that might be out there, I mean, we've actively looked for this kind of stuff. It's usually pretty challenging to sort of get to make happen. But if you know of anybody, reach out, because we'd love to sort of express our vision of what we're really trying to create here, and take it to the next level. Last thing I'll say is, I know I haven't put out a video on the Pulse in the last couple of weeks. It's mainly been because I've been working extremely hard on relaunching the Collective Evolution podcast. And I've sort of been working on a video series that will be a foundation for that. So there's a whole bunch of videos coming. I've already filmed a bunch of them. They'll probably start releasing this upcoming week or the following week, but I'm hoping this upcoming week. So there's a lot of stuff coming in the mix, and things are going to get pretty exciting with regards to that project. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Just wanted to kind of show you guys this and give a little bit of insight into what we've sort of dealt with over the past little while, and to help you understand why we ask for donations, why we have a membership, these sorts of things. But yeah, so that's it. And thanks everybody for, who has donated, who's been supporting us in our membership over all these years. It has truly been the thing, as you can see now that you've seen this video. It's been the thing that has kept us going. So it's been a huge part of our journey here. So thank you so much. And the links to donate or to become a member, if you wish to do so, are going to be below this video. Thanks, and take care.